Sometimes the clearest path to see your own future is to hear stories of people that have stood where you stand today. People from different walks of life that have used franchising to design the life that they wanted. As you listen to these stories today, I want you to ask yourself two questions. Which of these stories feels closest to the story that you're trying to build? And second, which decisions would you have made differently in your journey? So with that, let's get started. So the first story I want to tell you is about David. David was a burned out corporate executive. He had, 20 years of corporate sales and high income, but he was traveling constantly in airports, high stress, working long hours, working odd hours, never home with his family. He got some severance. He got released from his job. He got some severance and took the window to rethink life. And rethinking life, he was deciding, as I coached him, I said to him, David, if you had another job today, if you got another job offer, would you take that job? Or have you crossed a threshold and decided, I need to own my own life? And neither answer is wrong. But I said to him, if you're not a 9 out of 10 in wanting to own your own business, take the job. And he said to me, no, this is my time. I've worked enough. I want my life to be different. So in that, we found a home services company. He had been building software for most of his life, and he didn't like the intangible aspects of designing software. He really wanted to, believe it or not, he wanted hands-on home services company. He was really excited around the electrician business because he knew in his area that there were a lot of electricians that were like mom and pop shops. He wanted a system to follow where he didn't have to be the electrician, but that he could be the electrician if he wanted to. And he wanted to work his own hours. So he found an electrician business where there was, he could hire people if he wanted to, hire, licensed electricians to do the work, but he could also do the work himself. He got to be part of his community. He got to choose what hours he worked, how many staff that he hired or didn't hire, how much he scaled or didn't scale, and how fast he did so. Today, he's working 30 hours a week, and he's home for family dinners. He has control of his life and his time. And for David, his breakthrough moment was that he realized freedom isn't about quitting work. It was about controlling which work shapes his life. And he wanted to be able, in his case, he wanted to be able to roll up his sleeves and be directly accountable and to deliver services that helped people. And that when he looked and walked away from the job, there was a tangible benefit to it. Second one, let's talk about Michelle. She's a healthcare worker who loves helping people, but was buried in the bureaucracy of a large hospital. She loved caring for patients. She loved working with people. And so, her dream was about community. It wasn't so much about income. It was about having an impact on people's lives, but doing it on her own terms and her own time and in her own community. So she found a senior care franchise where she gets to serve families in her community, serve aging adults, and help them through the later stages of their life and feel connected and cared for, and to have deep personal connections with the folks, but also to build a legacy in her community of helping people. So today, she leads a team of 12 plus caregivers. Although income wasn't her driving factor, she has higher income than she had before as a healthcare worker, and certainly higher meaning and higher connectivity. For her breakthrough moment was she discovered that when you align your business with your heart, success is natural and it's not forced. And then the third one I want to talk about is Jason, the lifestyle entrepreneur. Jason is a startup guy. I would say startup guy, I say startup survivor. And he knows the pain of building from scratch. He built a consulting business and he was just grinding, and inventing things as he went along. And what he wanted in his life was he wanted a plug and play system that could scale without him burning out and being the person who delivers the business all the time. So he chose a semi-absentee business, a wellness franchise. He was really health conscious, wanted to help people with their health and wealth, or wellness, I should say. So in that franchise, he was able to start part-time at first while continuing to do his consulting business, so he could kind of split between the two. And he built it while he was still consulting and earning revenue from that business. Within 2 years, he was able to build full-time income. He let go of the consulting business, sold it off, and now he runs the franchise with minimal daily involvement. He's able to realize that dream of having some more time freedom and having a business of sustainable recurring revenue. And his breakthrough moment was he realized that the right franchise can be an accelerator and a way to create freedom of time and freedom of working when and where you want without starting from zero and without having to be the startup guy all the time. So takeaways and action steps. So takeaways from this are every person has their own dreams, different fears along the way, and they have different paths that they want to reach. It's important to know for yourself that there's no one size fits all in franchising. What's really important though is that you do the work on the front end to define why you're buying a business, to understand and embrace what it takes to have an ownership mindset, and to establish a really strong framework for what you want your next chapter to be. In this case, the freedom framework that we talked about earlier. When you do that, you will find the right fit for you, and based on your values, your goals, and the life you want to create, you will find the right franchise that fits that unique constellation of needs and wants. So as you move forward, your story is still being written. So it's important to take the time and choose your plot carefully. So just some next steps and reflections. Which of these stories resonated the most with you? What does it tell you about what you truly want in your life? Be sure that you did your homework, that you did your 5 whys and your freedom framework and the exercise from the ownership mindset exercise, and realize that when you do that, everything you do from this point forward will be 10 times easier and faster and better. And so in our next episode, we're going to start talking about the 5 phases of buying a franchise. We're going to help you to understand the entire process from beginning to end, how to do it well, and to make sure that you feel competent, clear, and that you don't feel confused about any of the process, so that when you show up with franchisors, you are prepared and look confident and you're ready to make the right decision and drive the process for your benefit and for your next journey. So click the link. I'll see you there. Let's do this.